there's a plus. I think I mentioned in my last video that I want to just put some 2x4 brace in underneath of this, because on the other side of this, the roof racks are coming in through the wall. Just for peace of mind, I wanted a brace under here going all the way down, and I forgot about this little doo-hoppy, so I'm just gonna have to stay a little to the right of that. There's not much choice there. Forgot to account for this here. It's been a treat trying to get that in around that. Got some construction adhesive I want to put behind this board so it stays in there. Problem being, it takes a lot of shimmying and moving around to get the board in there. So I'm just going to end up with construction adhesive everywhere. So I'm kind of thinking at this point about doing just a squiggly strip down on the wall instead of on the board. That might be the best option to avoid getting it absolutely everywhere. We'll see. Again, this is just peace of mind for me. We got construction adhesive, we've got a couple of wood screws. I realize I probably could have put a couple more, but hopefully 2 is good enough. Alright, well, got a lot of insulation to get back in, but hopefully that'll be some type of support for the roof racks. Good morning. Mama Robin never came back to sit on her nest. Since, you know, it was pretty much nighttime when I moved it after I discovered it had fallen, I think it's safe to say that the probability for survival for those eggs is pretty low, I would say. It's sad, but I guess sometimes you have to let nature take its course. Anyway, I'm just heading to my dad's now. We're going to get that second roof rack up and possibly get started on getting the solar up there too. I'm kind of hoping, but we'll have to see how it goes. Jeez, man, these flies. I gotta get going. He lives more coastal, so the flies... So the flies aren't like this. There. Okay. really like I was going to go backwards. Well,
lined up good up here.
Look at the pollen on those panels. Yep, that time of year. This one here is not as bad, but definitely have to clean those up today. Usually just take my little scrub brush thing with a handle and just clean it off with plain water. I don't go spraying anything on them.
Mama Swallow is not happy that I'm out here walking around doing stuff. And neither is Papa Swallow. Where'd he go? I keep seeing a shadow crossed over my head. You're okay. I'm literally just trying to carry on with my day and clean off my solar. This may seem weird, but I think they're using two houses. Like, she or he just came from the other house and went to this one, so I don't know what that means, if they're using both. I thought I had two different families of swallows. You know, these two look like they're going back and forth between these two different houses, so that's weird. Okay, and now they're also going into this one. Somebody tell me what's going on. It seems like two swallows are making use of all three swallow houses. Is that normal? I don't know. Because now this one's back up in this one here, so make it make sense. Cleaned off that 100-watt panel I've got plugged into the Jackery and getting, yes, okay, all right. Getting 95, 96 watts of solar coming in on that. Running the Starlink, so seems to go between, I don't know, 40 watts to 60 watts depending. And Rory's feeling good these days, aren't ya? Yeah? He said, yeah, I'm feeling real good. Let me outside now, please. Huh? I know. Soon. Soon. He's feeling good on his diet change. Doesn't really seem to have any more GI issues, which is great. Except he did hack up one giant fur ball, like yesterday, the day before. And maybe that was a blockage he had for a while. I don't know. Ever since then, he seems to be good. I also didn't know this, but the vet said cats actually aren't supposed to really hack up fur balls. They're supposed to digest them in their stomachs. Didn't know that. He's done it most of his life here and there, so maybe he's just always had an issue there. Oh, these ones over here are real bad. Yeah. I'm about to clean off my solar. I don't know where they went. A little nerve-wracking being up here on this tall ladder because the swallows keep coming and swooping at me. Okay. I mean, I can't say I blame them. They're just trying to protect their nest, but it's a little spooky being up here on this ladder and having them fly at your head. Now, I just wiped this off with water, but look at the difference. I've got to do that side. That's how much pollen we have already. That's pretty wild. Speaking of solar, we now have solar, dirty solar. That's got pollen on it too, but we now have solar up on the box truck roof. Obviously I still need to, I've got zip ties just holding the cables up under there in place so they're not flopping around while I'm driving. But I do need to straighten them away, fix them up, run them through the roof, through this solar gland, you know, positive and negative solar cables will come down through this. This will be mounted somewhere over on this side. I do want my solar cables coming through on this side, coming in, down in behind my fridge where I can kind of hide them, and down into where I'm going to have the batteries and the electrical. Probably should have cleaned these before I show you. They're a little dirty, but I've got two 445 watt panels up here. I was going to go with two 500s to give myself an even 1,000 watts of solar, but I'll talk about why I didn't do that here in a moment. Just like we had issues with the ladder racks themselves and kind of had to change of plans and had to cut part of that gunnel off, just as we had issues with those, we also had issues with the mounting brackets. Now, because the roof in these things are just so thin, that's why I decided to go with these ladder racks that go in through the sidewall here. Each of them are coming into these pieces of 2x4. I did go ahead and put 2x4 down in along here. That's just for peace of mind. You know, if they're up there bouncing around, I just wanted some sort of support beam, I guess, under it. My worry was that because this stuff is so thin, it might, I don't know, might pull it away or buckle. I didn't know. So anyway, we've got 2x4 here for support. That's a peace of mind thing. Problem being, I had to pull a lot more extra insulation out, and now I've created more work for myself, and now I have to re-insulate those wall panels. Black flies about again. That's okay. Like I said, it's a peace of mind thing. Hopefully it helps. Hopefully it does something. And yeah, I'll just have to insulate these another day. As far as the brackets go, because I went with this style of ladder rack, obviously I decided to mount the panels on top of them, so they are not low profile. They do have a little bit of lift off the roof there. Allows for some decent airflow, I guess. Might be able to see we've got U-bolts on the inside going right up through the solar frame, holding them on over there. I don't recommend doing that. It was very difficult to get at. Really hard to see what you're doing, really hard to get your hands in under there. Anyway, they are on there. That's the main thing. Over on this side, ooh, there's a spider. Oh my gosh, get away from me. Over on this side, the problem was this weld here from where that gunnel was cut. The U-bolts that we had just weren't working out, so I had some flat steel that I painted the same color as the racks themselves. You may have seen on some of the clips my dad was, I don't know if you saw where he cut them in pieces, but anyway, they were cut, holes drilled through, and now we've got bolts going up through where the holes were drilled in through the solar frame itself. So we've got the U-bolts on the inside, but on the outside we've got these pieces that we kind of made ourselves, and it works. They're on there, they're sturdy. They actually look like they're part of the racks themselves, kind of. But anyway, there's lock washers up in there, nuts up in there. The solar mounting hardware that I had was going to bring the solar up even slightly higher, so I just didn't want to deal with that. That's why we had the solar frames themselves just mounted straight down onto the ladder racks. Plenty of room under there for airflow and efficiency, but not really sure if I should consider putting something aerodynamic in the front part just to help with fuel economy or not. Didn't notice any issues driving on the highway last night. You know, it wasn't making any extra noise, so that's good. My hope with mounting the panels at the back end was kind of once the wind goes up over that first lip, it just goes up. But who knows, maybe it doesn't, maybe there's a wind tunnel forming over there. Let me know your thoughts on that. Seem to drive fine with them being mounted how they are, it's just that they're not low profile. And even though it looks like it on that side, they don't actually extend over the sides of the vehicle at all. Man, yep, I should probably clean these. Kind of hard to see from here, but right in the center, there is probably a 2 to 3 inch gap between the panels. I also had to mount them where we had to mount them because of these two bolts here. If this were pushed in you know, and they were closer together a little bit, this would pretty much be sitting right on top of this bolt here. We already had the holes in the frame pre-drilled, so couldn't really do much about that. For some reason, there's less bugs in here. Panels themselves, like I said, there's always a method to my madness. The reason I went with these ones in particular is because A, 890 watts will do me just fine. B, I did want, like I said, I wanted two 500 watt panels just for an even 1,000, just to, I don't know, maybe that was my OCD, I'm not sure. 500 watt panels are really long. For the most part, I think most of them were like 7 feet long. So when I saw these ones online, A, I wanted to make sure they were monofacial panels, because bifacial, when you flat mount them, there's no real benefit, in my opinion, to that. And B, they are a little lighter as well in weight. Monofacial, I mean. So these particular panels are actually less than 6 feet in length. They're 5 something, which worked out really well for sitting on those ladder racks, because you should always have at the very least 4 feet of support space under your panels. And you also have to worry about what amount of overhang you have on both sides of that. So these ones worked out great in that regard. They were also on sale. 445 watt panels were like 170 Canadian on sale. I did pay for shipping to get them shipped to me, but that was still less than what I would have paid to buy them from someone locally. So it ended up working out that way. Had a little trouble getting them, but that wasn't the fault of the company that sent them to me. The panels are from Canadian Solar. I do have a Canadian Solar panel up on my roof now. It is that 400 water right there, and it does look dirty even though I just cleaned it. Anyway, that one is a bifacial panel. A friend gave that to me. It's a heck of a lot heavier, that's for sure, but it does still work good, even though it does have a crack in that corner of the panel. It was there when I got it. I think it was there when my friend got it, so yeah. But the spacing worked out good. There's less than 4 feet in between. The panels themselves actually do have the support things in the back, which I was happy to see because some of them don't. But that does help. So obviously there's no sag. I'm not too worried about it. They seem pretty secure up there. Finally, there's solar on the roof. Pretty exciting. Like I said, I do still have to gear up all my cables up there, run them through the roof. Once that's done, I'll feel really good about things and I can move on to something else. I am going to need to track down some cable cutters and strippers and crimpers, and I'm probably going to have to make some adjustments, trim down some of those cables on the panels, extend some cables depending. So that's going to be like a whole other project, which I might not film because it's probably going to be pretty boring for you. Project for another day. Okay, well, this one's getting pretty long, so I think I'm going to end things here. I hope you're all doing well. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I hope to see you in the next one. Bye.